Hello, Space Cadets, it's your old pal Vector Spaceman once again, coming to you live once more from Harbor Station, broadcasting on all frequencies to our beautiful planet Earth. Whether you're watching us live or catching us after the show tonight, don't you know we're glad to have you on board? Thanks for helping us make outer space the place to be, as we get set to rocket into another session of all the things we like to love and love to share. We got action in the chat already. Salted Abnormality, hello to you. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for tuning in once again. Today is Friday, December 17th, 2021. Space Cadets, another week come and gone, and the weekend couldn't have come soon enough, if you ask me. Time to kick back and relax and wind down with some great games, fine folks, and fun times. Now, if you missed the last show, we got absolutely smoked in Halo Infinite, trying to grind out some weekly challenges. One or two good plays, but overall just got our space butt handed to us. And you know what's wild though? I picked the game up again today off stream, switched back to using the game controller instead of the mouse and keyboard. Suddenly we're doing much better. I'm not sure there's any future with the mouse and keyboard, despite it feeling a little more natural for a long-time PC player. And you know the Halo Championship Series got started today, their first big Infinite event. I was watching a bit of that this afternoon as well, watching the pros play. We learn a little bit, pick up some tips and tricks, start thinking of ways to up our own game. We'll return to Halo at some point, probably not next week, but we're going to have a shorter streaming schedule around Christmas, but we'll be back at some point to redeem ourselves in that terrible, absolutely terrible showing from last night. Now, of course, to stay up to date with all of our broadcasts, be sure to follow Vector Spaceman on Twitter, YouTube, and right here on Twitch. Oof, Space Cadets. And I say again, oof. I just finished eating dinner. We had something special shipped up to the station tonight. A big old order of poutine, covered in all sorts of meat, cheese, gravy, sauces, the works. You know, we've got a lot of Canadian listeners here on the show. You're all at the very center of our thoughts tonight, Canadians, but boy does that food punch you right in the gut. We're gonna have to start doing fitness streams or something, especially with Christmas right around the corner. Poutine's always great. It is though, but isn't it just like a lead cannonball in your stomach? Ugh. I always end up overeating around the holidays. I don't know about the rest of you. Lots of chocolate, shortbread cookies, nuts, pretzels, all sorts of good stuff. All sorts of good stuff. It's hard to say no to it all, you know? It's part of the season. You sort of have to indulge. So if we seem a little bit lethargic tonight, that's probably why. We're stuffed full of gravy and cheese curds. Fortunately, however, our stream tonight is a bit more tactical, a bit more cerebral, perhaps. Doesn't require us to make snap decisions. Tonight we're returning to Into the Breach to save yet another timeline from alien villainy. Now, I had spoken before our first Into the Breach stream about how I used to play a ton of this game when it first came out. And after doing that last stream, I've spent a lot more time playing the game off stream, so we've got a lot more mech squads unlocked and we're chasing 100% completion. This is one of the few games where that actually seems possible for us. But before we begin, as always, I'd like to give a quick salute to some of our favorite followers and members of the community. Now, longtime viewers, you'll know, as all Space Cadets are intelligent people, that we love to see familiar faces here on the show. So for those of you listening live tonight, of course, feel free to drop a comment in the chat whenever and join the conversation. Now, tonight we are taking a look at Space Buffoon. And now you know how much we love our fellow space-themed virtual streamers. Space Buffoon streams a variety of multiplayer party/arcade type games here on Twitch. Stuff like the Jackbox party games, Gartic Phone, Mario Party, that sort of stuff. What's more, we love the model. Nice helmet you got there, Space Buffoon. And the character design has a classic cartoony style that we love to see. So why not check out the channel? Space Buffoon streams pretty regularly and offers plenty of opportunity for audience interaction. Space Buffoon, thanks for supporting the channel. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day. You know, I think we could learn a lot from channels like Space Buffoons, who plays games that let the viewers get directly involved. I remember being blown away just by how much fun something as simple as the Twitch Marble and other in-stream games could be. I'd love to do a Jackbox games night or a Gartic Phone or something like that. We just gotta make sure that we can round up enough Space Cadets for a good time, you know? Which reminds me, listeners, we're still gunning for that 50 follower milestone by the new year. We've made a couple of new friends over the past few days. We're now sitting pretty at 44 Space Cadets, but you know we gotta get those numbers up. So if you like what you see here tonight, why not help out the channel with a follow? You'll always be tuned in when we go live, and it'll help us reach new ways to engage with viewers here on the show. Alright everybody, let's get started with today's show, shall we? Prepare to launch? Let's get in that robot. Time for more Into the Breach. Let's head on over to the big screen. Alright, let's load it up here. Now for the uninitiated, this is the sort of successor game, or sister game perhaps, to the very popular Faster Than Light. Also developed by Subset Games. Now we've been playing that on the stream a couple times as well, but we don't have nearly as much success. I don't even think we've made it to the final fight on stream. And off stream, I think I've only managed it once, but still never actually beaten the game. Into the Breach, on the other hand, completely different story. We are well versed in how this game works. Now I said I was playing a bit off screen. We've unlocked a whole bunch of extra mech squads. And today, since I thought, well, we're getting close to the holidays, why don't we use the ice-themed mech squad? We'll save that one for the stream. So each one of these squadrons has different achievements that we're supposed to try to accomplish during our 4-island fights. For example, shoot cryo launcher 4 times in a single battle. Definitely can do that. Kill 3 enemies with a single attack of the Janus cannon. Okay, this is a gun that shoots 2 ways at once, so might be able to pull that one off. And kill fewer than 3 enemies in a single battle. We can probably pair that one with the cryo launcher. So this is probably one of my favorite mech squads in the game. I'll tell you what my least favorite one is as well. It's got to be this one here, the Blitzkrieg. And the reason for that is, of all the different squads in the game, this is the only one that really limits your ability to position and deal damage at the same time. Which is really the whole kit and caboodle of the whole game. So if you can't pull off both, you're really going to have a hard time. Usually you're either hoping that you get ideal placement at the start of a fight so you don't have to move around too much, you can just deal straight damage, or you get lucky with some of the island shops give you different ways to outfit your mech. Ice aesthetic has always been your favorite? Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. I think my favorite squad overall is probably the Flame Behemoth, this fire themed one, and it all comes down to this mech here, the swap mech, which allows you to teleport enemy units, or swap places with them, more accurately. And once you get that completely, upgraded, you can swap places with enemies from 4 tiles away, which is basically half the length of any of these battle maps. So the strategy there is usually just hover over a body of water or acid or something like that, any instant kill tiles, and just start dropping land enemies into it. Really enjoy using that team. But my second favorite definitely has to be these ones here, the Frozen Titans. And it all comes down to this mech, the Ice Mech. So it's only got one weapon. The cryo launcher frees yourself and the target. Now that takes your mech out of the game for a moment. So you usually have to pair that up with ensuring you're going to get hit that round so that you get broken out of the ice so that you can move again come next turn. The other way to go about that, though, there's 2 pilots in the game that actually start the game, and we've gone and unlocked all the pilots as well. We've really been grinding this off stream, but there's 2 pilots in game that start you off with shields. Bethany Jones, mech, starts every mission with a shield, and then this one that we're using right now, Mafan, gains a shield every turn. And having shields actually negates certain status effects in the game, including ice, fire, and I think acid as well. So if you can either keep the shield up throughout the whole game, or even better with Mafan, you just get a new shield every turn, you can basically keep popping off that cryo launcher, not have to worry about freezing yourself, start taking out units every turn. And more so than that, the team has just got really good mechs altogether. The Aegis mech with the shield not only deals damage, but turns the enemy around, so you can use that to get them attacking their comrades, or just to turn them around from attacking your buildings or power pylons. This one's a little more difficult, the mirror mech, to handle. shoots projectiles in two opposite directions. Can be useful in certain situations, but oftentimes you find you have to really position yourself so that you're not shooting some of your own buildings. Now, are you familiar with the game at all, Salty? You're about to get a crash course in how we do this. It's such a sweet game. Very tactical, very Fire Emblem-esque or Final Fantasy Tactics type combat. All about positioning. Let's get started here. And not only that, but the game just looks solid. Never heard of it, but it looks cool from these menus. Oh, it's really cool. Really cool. Now, Mafan's special ability is that he starts the game with a reactor core, which will allow us to increase his movement. And because we leveled him up earlier, from some of our previous playthroughs, he actually gets another mech reactor, but we have nothing to spend it on, so we'll just keep that in the bag for now. XCOM is another good parallel. Yeah. Especially with the alien villainy. So what we're basically trying to do here, it's what you'd call a roguelike type of game. We're going to progress through these 4 islands, fighting progressively harder enemies, improving our mechs so that we can finally take out the enemy hive. And the game sort of presents a time travel sort of concept to explain why you're doing it over and over, which is charming in a sense. It's nice when games actually try to rationalize the repetitive gameplay. So we want to prioritize getting these stars here, which translate to corporate reputation, which we can spend at the end of each of these islands to level up our mechs. Whereas these lightning bolt icons translate to powering up our power grid. Now, we try not to let that fall too low, because if it does, we lose the game. But just in general, we try not to let any of our buildings get attacked, which is when that starts to drop. Okay, so I'm thinking we'll probably try to take on this one, this one, this one, and this one, because we only get the opportunity to tackle 4 different zones before we have to do sort of a mini-boss fight on each of these islands. So let's get started here. Our goal is to defend the train. If we do that, we get some reputation. And look at this. This is great. So the whole thing is set up on an 8x8 grid, like a chessboard, basically. And yet, it never really feels cluttered like you might expect. So we've got a variety of enemy units that we'll end up facing. Right now we've just got the 2 here. We've got fireflies who shoot projectiles, and we've got a scion which applies buffs to other units. This one, this orange one, Blast Scion, it's going to make it so that whenever any of these units die, they explode and do damage to adjacent tiles. So we're going to try to take it out first, if at all possible. Set our spawns, and let's do this. Okie doke. Now we gotta get this fella off of the track, of course, otherwise the train's gonna crash into it. So because we got nothing behind us here, perfect opportunity to use the mirror mech. Blast him off the tracks. Good start. Now we gotta decide how to tackle these 2. Fortunately, we've got all the options that we need here. We'll just use the Aegis mech to A, park on this spawn tile, which is going to keep another unit from spawning next turn at the expense of us taking a little bit of damage. And we will flip him around using that shield, dealing damage and flipping him around. Perfect combination. Love that mech. Now for the ice mech, we're just going to freeze it, and of course we don't get frozen because we got that shield. Fantastic start to the game. Next turn. Train moves, we just have to survive a few more turns so it can make it all the way to the end of the track. Now we can apply the same sort of idea here. We'll just... Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. Okay. We'll move the mirror mech up, just for safekeeping. Freeze this one, because we got no way to reach him. Flip our other fella around. End the turn. There we go. And the Scions won't attack anything. They'll just give buffs over time. Now we're getting dangerously close to having no health. Uh-oh. But we are on the last turn, so if we can make it through this, we're solid. Now here's a good opportunity for the mirror mech. We've got enemies on both sides. Now he'll crash into this fella. But that's fine. He's only got 1 health left, so we'll just take him right out. Oh no! That's right, I forgot. We haven't taken care of the Scion yet, so it explodes. Which means we lose out on defending the train. Now, thankfully, every battle, we get 1 opportunity to reset a turn, so we're going to do that right now. That completely slipped my mind. Alright, so what we'll do then, we'll freeze up this fella. There we go. And now I'm fairly confident that if we break him out of the ice, which is what would happen here. Oh no, he would still lose that health from the collision? Alright. We can't risk that because we can't take damage to that train. And we really, really want to keep getting all of these objectives done, even at the expense of some of our power grid, which is what we're going to lose when these buildings get attacked here. Because if we can get all 4 of these zones that we take on, if we can get all the objectives done within them, we'll get a little bonus at the end of the island as well. Though unfortunately, we cannot reach the end there. Without jeopardizing the train. So instead what we're going to do, we're actually going to have him fire this way, just take out the Scion, just to give him a little extra XP. So all the mechs will continue to level up, the pilots will get better, you can see they got experience levels there. And they'll unlock new abilities as well. Alright, twist him around, end of the turn, we'll take a little bit of damage on the building. Oh, resisted. Perfect, even better. And we got one of those Chivos completed already, perfect. So you'll see up here, it says grid defense, 18%. So technically, every time that we take building damage in the game, or any time an attack is made against a building, we have a small percentage chance that it'll resist it. That's our grid defense percentage there. And we can increase that by overpowering our power grid by taking on extra missions that have these power symbols, or by buying extra power at the end of the island as well. So we'll see what comes of that. We got really lucky there. Good start, good start. Alright, on to the next one. Destroy the dam and block Vex spawning 3 times. We can do that. Okay, we'll position the Aegis mech here because he does 2 damage, so that would be a great start if we can take out the dam right away. We're going to try to bait the Scorpion here into tying us up with its webs. And then we'll plant the ice mech right at the edge there. Let's get started. Oh, okay, he's got other plans. So when we break this dam, water is going to flow out here. It's going to drown this mech. So that'll be good for us. How much movement does he have? Just 3. Okay. That'll allow him to get here at least, which will allow him to take a shot at that Hornet. Meanwhile, we're going to plant the ice mech right here. That's going to be over top one of these spawning points, so that'll start working away on that. And because we've got that shield, that'll negate the damage from it when it happens next turn. So we go ahead, we freeze. We bust this up, or you know what, we'll take a little... we'll keep him right there for now. Bust that up. That frees up our mirror mech. He can move over here, take a cheap shot on that Hornet perfectly. Alright, next turn. He whiffs his shot, we block that enemy, and as soon as this next turn starts, he'll of course get a brand new shield. There we go. Now we're gonna have to use the ice mech. 1, 2, 3. Oh man. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't think he can make it, can he? We are going to have to pull off a pretty wacky move here. Okay, here's what we're gonna have to do. Plant the Aegis mech there, turn him around, that should break the webs. Yep. You're gonna go here. You're gonna go here. Because that's the extent of his movement. We can't, Oh, wait a minute, it flies! Perfect, okay, we don't even have to do that then. Here's what we're gonna do then. We're gonna park you right here. You can float on the water and still attack. No problem. Frees him up. Cancels the attack. And because he's got a shield, we don't even have to worry about this. We're gonna fire like this. Do a little bit of damage to our other mech, and the shield will absorb the attack on the other side. But we still have 2 spawns covered up, which will complete our secondary objective. We're just gonna have to get him repaired. Alright, now here's what we gotta do. Gotta pre-plan this a little bit. Pop you up here. Pop you down here because we need our mirror mech to be... Oh no! It doesn't have the range. Okay, we gotta rethink that then. We gotta park him here. Now we need the mirror mech to give us a boost. So that'll take out our shield. But, oh no! Because it takes out our shield, we're actually going to get frozen for once. But that's fine, we can break ourselves out next turn. We just can't risk taking damage to these buildings. Alright, we'll move over here. Do some damage, flip you around. That's fine, just start chipping away at you for next turn. And next turn will be our last one. Hopefully we won't have any flying mechs that'll scoot over here out of range again. Perfect, all land stuff. Okay, we can turn him around. Better yet, we'll just ignore these two. We don't really have to worry about them. We'll break this guy out. Oh no! Alright, we're gonna have to reset that. That's the worst thing ever. Okay, so this is... I hadn't considered this before, so in the same way that the shield keeps us from being frozen, it actually keeps us from breaking the ice on it as well. Alright, well that's gonna keep him doubly safe from this shot then, that's fine. We'll just go about this another way. Knock him into the water, free up the web, flip this guy around, no damage. Okay. We still get away scot-free. And technically we can always break ourselves out of the ice by using a repair move. But since he's double protected right now and there's only 1 turn left, we'll just end it like that. These guys can all fire into the void. Perfect. 2 down, 2 to go. We got a mini boss fight, and that'll be our first island. I think we're gonna breeze through these. We're pretty familiar with how this team works. issue we have dealing with is usually these flying mechs, or flying Vec that get out of range of us. Okay, how shall we do this? We can't step on these tiles. These are going to be airstrike tiles. They'll trigger before all the enemies do. And this is another good feature in the game. You can look at the triggering order of enemy attacks and other stuff like fire damage. Then this environmental stuff will happen. There's a number of other environmental effects in the game that can trigger. Okay, I'm starting to worry. We might not be able to reach everything here due to our minimal movement speed. Now there's one really great pilot in the game, Henry Kwan, that lets you move through enemy spaces, but unless you have a flying type mech, usually you're stuck when they get in front of you. Alright, let's consider our options here. We might have to sacrifice one of these buildings. So I'm thinking the wisest thing to do then, let this one take the hit. Because at least we can apply damage to these two. Get a little collision damage there. Actually take this one right out. We'll freeze him and he'll be super weak next turn. We can finish him off. We'll just take 1 point of power grid damage, which we can make up for because if we complete the secondary objective on here, we'll actually earn 1 back. So we'll come out at net 0 basically. Coal plant being this building at the back here. You know, there's a tabletop role-playing game called Lancer that I always felt seemed like it took a lot of influence from how this game plays in terms of tactical mech combat and what have you. Alright, we're gonna move down here just to get on this side of all this nonsense at the start of next turn. Freeze you up. Or hold on. This is a better place to be. So we'll freeze this one up. Technically you can reposition everything and undo it until you start making attack moves. I think that's where I want everybody. Freeze you. Completely demo you. And he's going to get taken out by that airstrike, so we don't even have to worry about him. And the nice thing is when you've got frozen enemies, a lot of times the other enemies will prioritize trying to take them out. So that can save you some time. Alright, he's targeting, or was targeting us. We're just gonna stomp on that spawn. And then we will turn him around. Or you know what, he's not, we don't even have to worry about him because he is going to get taken out by that airstrike. So we're just gonna move everybody up a bit. Freeze you. Perfect. And the reason I didn't bother attacking him here was because it would have broken this other guy out of the ice due to the collision. And we do not want that. Alright, he's going to get taken out. Now let's take another look at those achievements again. Shoot the cryo launcher 4 times in a single battle. Apparently we haven't done that one yet, so why don't we take care of that? Chivos, absolutely. He's going to try to break him out of the ice. That's fine, he's not going to have any actions because it's the last turn. So we'll just just call it there. Plane coming by, get a little bit of XP, and there we go. They skedaddle. Making good progress. Alright, now what's this last one? Defend satellite launches. That can be a tricky mission, depending on the team that you're working with. I'm fairly confident that we can do it, though. We gotta protect these 2 satellites here from launching. Now these 2 both have 3 health, which will be difficult to try to manage. I just worry about that flying enemy. We'll stay parallel with him, because I know we've got more movement than him. Alright, let's start. Oh, and here we go, time pods. So if we collect these, we can unlock new pilots, we can unlock new reactor cores, new weapons, all sorts of fun stuff. As long as we keep it from either we have to land one of our mechs on it, or we have to keep the enemy from shooting it by the end of the game. Is there a unit that pushes enemies when it attacks? It seemed like it'd be a good skill in this game, so yes. Positioning, pushing, attacking. Basically every mech squad has some combination of units that can either push or deal damage, or sometimes pull. That's also another way to reposition enemies. But for example, the mirror mech here, so it deals damage and it also pushes whatever it hits by 1 square. There's a bunch of artillery class mechs as well that lob shots through the air, and then whenever the shot lands, it sort of pushes everything out from around where it hits. But yeah, there's definitely mechs like that. And technically it doesn't have to be the mech itself. There's upgrades that you can put on different classes of mech. So for example, the Aegis mech is technically a Prime class mech, I believe it's called. Yep. The Mirror mech is a Brute class mech. The Ice mech is a Range class mech. So if we find other Range class or Brute class or Prime class weapons, we can equip them to our different mechs, which will allow us to do super cool new things beyond just what they come equipped with at the start of the game. So, what are we going to do here? We can waste this guy with 1 hit, so I think that's ideal. We can freeze this fella here, also ideal. What do we want to do with this guy, though? I tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to let him whiff his shot, and we're going to pick up that time pod, just to be safe. That'll just shoot out to the end of the map. We won't have to worry about that anymore, about anybody stepping on our time pod. So we freeze, we waste, we end the turn. Now these satellites have 2 HP, I believe, so technically they can take 1 hit each. So this one's about to take off. When it does, it'll kill anything that's adjacent. So I think we're just going to let it take the 1 damage. That's fine. Now, this is ideal, this is ideal. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna park the Ice mech. Oh no, we're not gonna do that, certainly not. We're going to take the Aegis mech, we're gonna park it on this spawn point, turn this guy around, and when we do that, so anytime we attack certain tiles, like forest tiles here, if you land an attack on those, it can start a forest fire, which is going to deal extra damage to the enemy every turn that they remain on fire. So because they're on fire, they're actually going to take a point of damage at the start of the turn, which means they're going to die at the start of the turn, basically. So we don't have to worry about him anymore. That's perfect. I would also like either to freeze this guy up or push him into the line of the satellite going off. And I think that's probably smarter in the long run. is to push him into line with the satellite, but ooh, have we got the range? We do have the range. Okay, so here's the fun part then. So here's the order of operations. First comes fire damage, then comes enemy actions, then comes NPC actions. NPC actions in this case means the satellite that's about to go off. So before that goes off, the enemies are going to get their shots off. So we're going to have the mirror mech bump him into the way of the satellite going off. So he'll die when that goes off, but he's going to get a shot on us first. But what we can do, we can use that ice mech to freeze up our own guys so that when he takes the shot, it's not going to actually do damage to us, it's just going to break us out of the ice, and we'll be set for the following turn. Let's see all that in action. So satellite's going to take 1 point of damage, which it will survive. We get broken out of the ice, and then it goes off, kills everything adjacent. So it's all about pre-planning, positioning. Gonna have to... We can do the same thing here, start a forest fire, 2 damage will become 3 damage at the start of the next turn. That'll break us out of the webs that these scorpions put up. Scorpions, and there's another class enemy called spiders that web you up as well, keep you from moving. Definitely not my favorite. Start moving you back, we'll freeze up that hornet. And let's just go ahead and park you on a spawn tile. You can tank that damage. Fire goes off. Okay, we got 1 turn left, and that satellite's ready to go. He's going to take fire damage. He's going to do 1 point of damage to the satellite before he gets obliterated. That's fine. Alright, so how's about we just... He'll die at the top of next turn. That'll give some XP. I think everything's good to go. Yep, everything's pretty well pacified. Excellent, excellent work. Having these shields on the ice mech every turn definitely helps. Alright, we got that time pod. Let's crack it open and see what's inside. Light tank, which can be applied to any class of mech. Oh, excuse me. Deploy a small tank to help in combat. That can be useful. It costs 2 reactor cores to activate, though, which is a little pricey. And then we get a free reactor core, which we can apply to any mech. Let's see how that works. I'm thinking that we want to apply it to the mirror mech to increase its movement for right now. Or do we want to give extra damage? I think damage, because we're about to go into a mini-boss fight against a hive leader. So here's what we gotta do. We gotta destroy the scorpion leader, this fella here, who's got a whole bunch of HP, and we gotta keep this building, the corporate tower, safe. Let's get into it. And you move 4, so we'll keep it right here for now. Okay, so this is a bit of a pickle. If we hit him with the shield, he'll take damage, yes. But I don't believe that'll flip him around any, since he's an omnidirectional attack here. And it probably won't break the web that's on us either. But I think here's what we can do. We'll apply damage. Oh, I'm sorry, it does break us out of the web. That's useful. Okay, in that case, now that we know that, let's actually reset the turn. We'll use that up. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to freeze it. That will definitely take care of the webs and fully incapacitate it. We're going to move over here. Oh no, but that's right. Should have thought this through a little more. Okay, that's fine. We can still make this work. We'll break him out. So he's basically done nothing this turn. Unfortunately, that means we're going to have to be a little swifter in finishing him off. And then we'll park the mirror mech down here. 2 damage to this fella. The shield tanks the reverse shot. We'll take 1 point of damage, 2 points of damage from the blocking the spawn point. And we'll really have to hustle the next couple of turns. What's this fella got? 1, 2. How much damage was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Alright. Okay, this is a prime opportunity to use this weapon. Now we're probably going to have to make more sacrifices on these, how you say, civilian buildings. The Aegis mech, if we move him here, he can take 2 damage, that's fine. But he's definitely going to get webbed up at the start of next turn, isn't he? We need to draw him out here somehow. So here's something we can do. We could use the ice mech to freeze up one of these buildings, which will keep it from getting attacked. If we go 2, 2, and 1 on the final turn, we might be able to make this work. Alright. Freeze that one up. Take this fella right out. So we'll take 1 point of damage if it does go through. Yep, it did. Oh no, he's right stuck in there. This is where having some sort of artillery mech that can lob shots in there would be ideal. Unfortunately, everything we have is either straight projectile or else is just, how you say, melee attack. Because the ice one doesn't actually do any damage, and it doesn't help us when we're trying to actually kill this thing. Whoa, oh no! Oh, that sucks. Okay, my hand just slipped onto the next turn button. Alright, this looks like we might actually wipe. Yep. Okay, I don't... Oh, that was dumb. I have the next turn button bound to the space bar. My thumb just slipped over that. Oh, that's rough. And, oh, no way. So we lost our beefed up Mafan as well. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna abandon it, because we're about to lose anyways. We'll say we'll take this guy. Nothing quite like misclicks in tactical games. Oh, yeah. That was just rough. Alright, so we'll get a fresh Mafan, because he's the guy we want in our ice mech. So he doesn't start out with any of those extra bonuses that we had earlier. Well, he comes with 1 reactor core bonus, which will be enough to fully kit out the ice mech. but we don't get the increase to our grid defense or anything like that. Alright, let's speed run this here. Speaking of speed runs, that one team that I told you was my least favorite, the Blitzkrieg one, there's actually one of their achievements that you're supposed to strive toward is to beat the first 2 islands in under half an hour. So if you know what you're doing, like, it's not hard to get stuff done. We'll try to speed through things a little quicker. And let me see if... end turn, we're gonna reassign that to... yeah, that'll work better. That'll work much better. Alright, let's get into it. We're gonna aim for this one, this one, this one, this one to maximize corporate reputation. Satellites, alright, let's get started. Start by taking you out, place you right here. No. We actually want you here, and you to be a little hidden. There we go. So this soldier scion gives every other unit an extra point of health. We don't love that, so let's get to work here. First things first, we know what we're doing with him, so let's just execute that. Flip you around, and we'll freeze you up. There we go. He's gonna die from fire. Actually, what he's gonna die from is gonna be when this scion gets taken out, he will actually lose that last remaining piece of health that he has. Let's watch. Done. Okay. Bump you over onto the spawn point, so he'll die on his next turn. He'll get the shot off before we do, though. We should have repositioned that so we don't get covered up. That is unfortunate. But... alright, here, we'll cover this up. End turn. Take 1 point of damage. Satellite goes off. Block the enemies. Okay. Just got 1 to worry about this turn. Freeze you up. And of course that shield keeps us blocking spawns. And since we're not attacking, we'll go ahead and repair on both of these guys. Of course, we'll get taken down again once they block the spawns, but it keeps us from getting too near to death. Okay, we want to move ourselves off of here. We'll just freeze you up. Love that cryo mech. Okay, good job, everybody. Mission complete. Flawless victory. It's kind of a pacifist-esque gameplay, this ice mech team. But at the same time, that can be a problem for some of the mission objectives. This guy can move 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just plant you right there. I want to stay out of range. Let's get started. Alright, we'll try to make up for lost time with that disastrous mini-boss fight that we had. Do some damage here. Raise you up. Uh-oh. Now I just thought about that. We gotta get him off the tracks before the train reaches it. Okay, he's gonna break it out for us, that's fine. what are we gonna do about you, fella? Here's what we're gonna do. Oh no. Oh dear. Have we lost this one already? See, this can be the issue when one of your mechs doesn't actually apply damage. Yeah, I am not seeing a solution to this one, as we are webbed from two different angles here. The most we could do is knock him over. He'd take 1 point of damage, but we can't freeze him up or anything, unfortunately. So, we're not going to get the bonus, but that's fine. We'll just, we'll muddle through. I'm sure we can make it without. Immune to fire, thank goodness. Okay, there we go. We'll get 1 point of reputation for defending the damage train. Bit of a rough start. We're gonna have to get some more weapons for these mechs. So because we didn't complete that one objective, that's gonna mean we don't get our bonus at the end of the island. But that is fine. Kill 7 enemies. I doubt we're gonna get that with the way our team is set up. So we'll focus some of these other ones. You can go here, you can go here. No. You can go there. I'll set you right there, buddy. Oh, and another time pod. Perfect. That'll be helpful. Alright, he's gonna be fine. Kind of blocked off here, though, aren't we? We'll come around, swing around the outside to help out next turn. We'll just take out the Scion this turn. That'll be good. Shield helps us there. Alright, he wouldn't make it around the side there, so this will help out though. As for here, we will stomp on that time pod, freeze up that fella there. He'll take the shot. We'll waste this guy. Smooth moves. And he's even gonna block a spawn for us. What a champion. What a team player. Alright, 2 birds with 1 stone right here, I can see. Perfect. Unfortunately, those aerial strikes haven't really been targeting stuff we can make use of. Turn him around. Alright, and that'll be it. Objective secured. Or 1 more, and then we'll be right back into the final fight. I mean, that only took us a few minutes. When we're not explaining how the game works, we can actually breeze through it pretty quick. That actually had happened to us the first time we were streaming this game as well, now that I recall. We wiped on the first or second island, and then the second one we just breezed right the second playthrough. we breezed right through. Alright, we got a new pilot here. Harold Schmidt. Push adjacent tiles when repairing. Very useful. Not only because it's nice to have named pilots, but also because we're going to slot that into our mirror mech, I think. So these sort of generic pilots with randomized names, they can only get one skill, whereas these specialized pilots, they can get two that you unlock through experience. But we're going to put him in here because this is the mech I foresee as having the most trouble moving enemies around. So we can use that repair skill anytime, even when we're at full health, and that will push any adjacent tile away from us. Okay, so kill at least 7 enemies again. We're just gonna have to go for this one then. Don't love these 3 health enemies. We haven't upgraded our mechs yet. Now all these tiles are going to get swallowed up by a tidal wave every turn, so it'll get increasingly closer and closer. But this is perfect. Very good positioning. We can... yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll get him to freeze first, since we learned the process behind that. And we will push both ways. And we'll flip him around. We gotta keep this building right here that's in the shield safe. And thankfully, some of these other generic buildings that control our power grid, they're already shielded as well. Okay, I should like to take this guy out, but I can't reach him. And I'm going to be taking a bit too much damage from this, but we'll make do, I suppose. Oh, wait, hold on. How far in can we get? Nope, that is as far as we can get. Okay, here's what we're going to do then. Yeah, we can take him out there. That won't do any damage because it's shielded. Oh! What a misclick. Alright, thankfully we have that reset turn button. Alright, let me re-explain that. Move him up here. We're actually going to shoot this way. And from here, we're going to freeze this fella. Alright, so first things first. There we go, he's done. Turn this guy around. And fire the ice. Perfect, perfect. Love it when a plan comes together. Now, we're not going to be affected by water, because all our mechs are technically massive, quote-unquote, which means we can still move around in water, we just can't fire our weapons. So this guy's going to get drowned, because very few of the Vec enemies count as being massive units. And he was so close to death that taking out that Vec completely demoed him. That's perfect. So why don't we just freeze this guy for good measure? And that's the game. We all get to take a swim. Perfect, perfect. All according to plan. Okay, and look at that. We've earned enough XP on one of our fellas for him to get a promotion. Plus 3 grid defense. Okay, so that goes up to 18%. And that can get crazy high. Like, you can get... I've seen it get very close to like 50% before. Basically like tossing a coin, whether or not you actually take damage. Alright. Oh, this is probably one of the worst ones for us. We have to destroy 5 goos. And these goos will continue to split into smaller versions of themselves. So we're really going to have to focus that from the get-go. Alright, let's start. You like how there's various gimmicks for the maps? Yeah. Oh, it's a really, really, really well-designed game. Now, this is kind of garbage, unfortunately. Due to the way we positioned, we cannot reach the goo. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna freeze the building that it's attacking, which will help us. How far do you move? Okay. And then we're just gonna have to get ourselves positioned for next turn. One of the best gimmicks that the game has is the fact that the enemies can attack each other if you position them properly, if you move them around through some of your weapons and stuff. So if you time their actions, because the game always tells you who's moving first and such, if you look for it, you can keep a lot of stuff safe. Alright, we'll flip you around. Everything should be safe this turn. Live to fight another day. Okay. Alright. Now he's the worst because he keeps locking us up, but here's the thing I was talking about. Check this out. So, this guy's shooting at us. What if, however, we could flip him around, as we can with this here shield that we have? And the only problem with that is I want to do damage with this mech as well. Okay, it's going to start a fire, so he'll die at the start of next turn, so that's fine. We can do that. We can do that. Okay. So it's going to burn up before it gets a chance to attack, which means we can plop ourselves right in front here. Oh, before we do that, though. Okay, no, we took a shot with him, so that's done. We'll freeze him up. And we'll waste this guy. Okay. All is safe. And that'll be our first of 5 goos killed, so the next 2 turns we're basically gonna have to kill one of these things a turn. Which should be possible given... Oh, but they're moving through the enemy units. So this will be another case of having to use positioning to our advantage or something. How much damage does he do? Just 1? That is unfortunate. Okay, this will work though. We are, however, going to have to sacrifice some of these lesser buildings again. But if we want to make it work, this is what it's going to take. Actually, can he get... Well, we can get on the spawn there. That'll at least help us next round. So we need to park our own guy on the other side of him so that we get collision damage. We can take him out. Oh, he's gonna burn up. That's perfect positioning. So we're just going to have to get 1 more. And it looks like we got more grid defense there. Resist. Excellent. So who leveled up there? It was Mafan, was it? Or no, it was this nameless guy. Tatiana Huang, +3 grid defense, perfect. Okay, we can move out of range there. Oh, no, but this has to be taken care of. That's got to shift around. And he's going to go first? That is bizarre. Usually the goos go first. Okay, Mirror Mech is going to take a little bit of damage. But we can take this guy out at least. Let him attack into nothing. We'll freeze this fella. So the only thing we're going to do is take one more point of grid damage if it comes to that. There we go. That should be it. Let's see it play out. 1 point of damage, but we're still good. Lose 1 power. There we go. They retreat. Thankfully, not every map is like a meat grinder, like a survival to the end. There's always a time limit. Okay, so we got 1 free reactor core. Where do we want to install that? Maybe into the damage here. Definitely into damage there. And now we get to spend reputation. So, here's we see a randomized assortment of weapons that we could pick up. They're not terribly good though. So I think what we're going to do instead, we're going to spend it all on... Well, first we're going to trade in this pilot that we're not using. But it costs 3 to buy an extra reactor core, so we can afford 2 of those, and we'll buy 1 extra point of power. Now, where to assign those reactor cores? We can start to improve all of our mechs. So this guy is fully kitted out until we start getting extra weapons for him. But I think probably extra movement all around would be ideal right now. Or you know what? Extra movement here. And we'll install the shield ability here, so when we hit someone with that shield, we actually get our own little bubble. That'll be useful. Alright, on to the next island, and this one is all desert themed. And it's got its own array of different challenges. This one is fun. I wonder if we can actually beat it with the ice mechs, though. We gotta use this terraformer here to terraform grassland into desert. Sort of the opposite of what we might usually consider doing. Alright, let's start. Okay. So this can aim in any 4 directions, and we gotta get all 4 done before the round is over. So because we've got 2 enemies on this side, I think we're gonna move our fellas out of range and let the terraformer do its work. It'll kill anything in whatever way that it's facing as it turns grassland into desert. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get outside of range, park on here, take out the... What is this one called? Blood Scion. This one regenerates health every turn. Waste him. We'll move out of range of this thing. Waste these 2. Take care of him. And park ourselves on the other spawn here. Perfect. That'll actually give us an extra turn to make preparations, because we got no enemies to deal with this turn since we covered up all the spawns from last round. And hey, we've got a shield from using that shield blast last time. Let's do this side since it's least likely to cause us problems. He'll repair. I think I should have moved him onto here first. But that's fine, we can still work with it. Okay, these guys are kind of a pain to deal with, these burrowers. Anytime they take even the smallest amount of damage, they jump back into the ground and spring up again next round. So I think we'll use the terraformer on it. And then we'll have the Aegis mech come around here, one-shot this fella. And we're good for another round. This one's been pretty easy. Alright, so some of these are just super-powered versions of enemies we've seen already. The Alpha Hornet, for example. So what we're gonna do here, I think... First of all, we have to finish terraforming here, so gotta keep that in mind. What I think we can do... We can't let him destroy the terraformer. He's got very large range on his attack. So we'll probably freeze him. Waste this guy. Finish up the terraforming, and we're done. This desert island and the last island, which is sort of an acid-based one, probably my least favorite ones. Now this is a cool one, because we can actually earn straight up power core if we complete that secondary objective. But I think first we'll try to get some of these ones done. We can definitely do this and battle with less than 4 mech damage. I don't think there's any danger of that for us. We gotta defend the emergency batteries here. So this is another one with environmental effects, Cataclysm. So these tiles here are gonna fall away at the start of the round, and anything that gets caught in them is going to get swept away. Let's see, this is a good way to start. Always want to take out those scions when able. Up. Done. Done like dinner. The only problem that these falling tiles can create is that sometimes your mechs get completely cut off from one side of the map. Alright, what are we dealing with here? We gotta do some damage to him. I would rather not knock this guy out as well, so we'll do this. Or, yeah, we'll do this, because I'd like to have a guy on the other side ready to go. Or is it wiser to just freeze this guy up so that he isn't a problem anymore? I think that might be the best move here. Indeed, indeed. So here's what we do. Freeze him up, knock him out, and he's covered up, so he's good to go. In fact, the ice can be very useful because it can also knock out flying units. It removes their flying ability so that you can then knock them into bodies of water or all sorts of stuff. So long-range shot there. We'll use your attack, even though it doesn't hit anything, to get that bubble. We'll turn you into an icicle. One more turn after this and we're good. Another one of these bad boys. And flyers, which have always been a bit of an issue. But we'll just knock him out of the way. Freeze this one up. No problemo. Done. Another mission, another victory. Okay, so because we've exceeded the number of bars on our power grid, we actually get a boost to our grid defense. So if we can keep that up, we can keep ranking that up as we keep doing more of these lesser missions. And then the last one I think we'll try for this train defense one again. Or it might be wiser just to go for ones that we know we can succeed in, so that we get that bonus at the end of the island. Well, either way, we're going to do this one here. Less than 3 grid damage, no problem. And these are going to fall away. They're probably going to keep getting closer and closer. Yep. So because he's a land-based unit, we don't have to worry about him. He's going to drop away before enemies get their attacks, so we'll use you to take this out. We're going to have to freeze him because we can't risk the blowback there. That will get rid of the webbing around our mirror mech, so he can cover up one of these spawns. Okay. It is a pretty creative game. I would say it's much more polished than Faster Than Light is. It offers a lot more to do. Oh, we don't have range to get... Oh, we do! Perfect. We can hit both of these guys at the same time. So he'll slither away. He'll show up again later. No doubt. Alright, park one here, one here. In the last turn, we're just gonna have to deal with one extra enemy. And this fella again, of course. But once again, we can dispatch with him. We'll step off of that cataclysm tile, we'll freeze you up. No diggity, no problem. Let gravity do the work, indeed. Okay. So we gotta decide now. Grid defense at 25%, that's great. We gotta decide if we want to try for this train defense map. And we gotta defend this thing. I think we should risk it. Oh, some of these guys are pretty tough, though. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm gonna keep you guys closer to the train. Oh, and we got another time pod. I should like to get some more of those specialty pilots, if we can. Alright, this is going to be pretty good. Take you out. We'll freeze this guy. No, but we can't freeze him, though, because we don't want him on the tracks. So we'll oh, no, but we can't not deal with him right now. So So we're gonna have to freeze him for the moment. Hopefully the enemies will do our work for us and unfreeze him by the time the train gets down here. Otherwise, we're gonna have to prioritize that so he gets off the track. Alright, not an ideal start, but we can work with it. Okay, that's great. He's not gonna attack. We are frozen. That is awful. Here's what we gotta do. Gonna have to bump him into our own guy. We actually got pretty lucky with this one. Freeze you. And unfreeze you. So he should hopefully move out of the way by next turn. But we are going to be swarmed with enemies here. But we do only have one turn left, so let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Alright, pretty weak. Oh, 2 burrowers though? Ah, he's awful. Don't web, okay. Don't get, oh, son of a gun. Alright, it looks like we're gonna lose one of these objectives at least. They are just too tightly packed there. So what's the range on him? 4? No. What do you got? 4 range. Why do you have to have such a wide attack? That is awful. Ah, they're just so clustered like that. This is where we need damage-dealing arcing shots. Alright, but at the very least we could... Here's what we can do. We can basically either save the robotics lab or the train, but we can't save both. So I'm saying we go for the robotics lab, because that's going to give us an extra power core, which is worth 3 reputation. So it just becomes a numbers game at that point, unfortunately. So we're going to free him. We're going to secure the Robo Lab. And then just for some marginal XP, I guess we're going to take out the Scion. That is unfortunate. We didn't lose any power grid. Or sorry, I guess we lost 1. But we did get that resist at the end there. Okay, and we got a time pod, which could have an extra reactor core in it. Okay, so we're actually doing pretty well for ourselves as we go into the final fight here. We're not going to get the bonus at the end, which is unfortunate. But we should still have enough stuff to keep going. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to install both on here to give us an extra damage. So that's going to do 3 damage with the shield now. Destroy the Hornet Leader? Okay, Hornet Leaders aren't that bad. Post up defense there. Or you know what? There, that's what I want to do. Okay. I want to try to funnel the Hornet Leader more toward this way. Okay, what can we do here? We can definitely take him out. Or we can move him. The Hornet Leader is massive, so even if we drop him into the water, it's not going to kill him. Here's what we want to do then. Oh no, we can't get all the way over here. Okay. But if this fella was out of the way, we could move past him. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we're going to waste this fella. We're gonna loop around and hit him with the old... I mean, that took out half of his health there. If we can keep that up, we're gonna be golden. And then we'll freeze up this alpha burrower, because he's just gonna be a hassle to deal with. Alright, end the turn. This fight's probably not gonna be too bad. Yeah, not bad at all. We'll just do a shield bash again. Blast this guy. Freeze this guy. 2 more turns of that. No problem, no problem. We got this, Space Cadets. Champion mech fighters right here. Okay, we're all webbed up here. Don't love that. But we can tank the attack at least. Fortunately, we can't get around there to save our man. But here's what we can do. It's a risky play. So I don't think we're gonna risk it. Alright, we're just gonna waste him. We're gonna sit on here. We're gonna tank that with the shield. And we'll have 1 more turn to deal with him. He's only got 1 health, so really anything can take him out. Yeah. Spread some of that XP around. Okay, done. Easiest boss fight ever right there. As soon as you start ranking up your mech's abilities, their powers, it becomes a lot easier, even with I guess a less combat focused team such as this such as the ice behemoths. All right, let's spend reputation. Now boosters are a pretty good weapon to have, so I think we're actually going to take that, and then we'll spend our last 2 on more reactor cores. And I think we want to give the boosters to the Aegis mech, because it loves running around and jumping and doing all sorts of stuff, and also because the mirror mech already has that frenzied repair ability, which lets it push stuff around anyways. So right now, I'm thinking extra health is what we want, because enemies are going to get a lot harder as we continue in the game. On to our 3rd island, which, fittingly enough, is ice-themed itself. Alright, what is our plan of attack here? 1, 2, 3, then maybe this one. Freeze and defend both robots. Okay, we were made for this one. So they give us a little tank here that can freeze these 2 runaway robots. But we're not even going to need it because we brought our own. This is pretty great. We can get this done turn 1, basically. And now, what's your movement? 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can take him out once we push you out of the way. So we freeze you. We freeze you. I had forgotten about that. Should we risk just taking a shot on the civilian building? I think we're gonna have to. It's better for us long term. Okay, we lose 1 power. We'll make up for it. These are the ones I hate, the spiders here. So that's what they do. They lob eggs that A, trap you, and B, turn into spiders on the next turn, which become more enemies. So they're the last thing that you really want to let creep around here. Alright, thankfully we're pretty well set up to take shots. Here's the thing though, rather than try attacking this with the Aegis mech, I would have liked if we could get in range to take out that web so we can move him around so we could freeze up some of these guys, because they're actually going to be a pain in the butt. But if we can't reach it, then that's fine. We'll just take out the spider so that he can't make any more goons. Or, yo, here's what we can do. We can use that brand new spiffy boost ability that we just picked up to push him into the way of the spider. He can do our job for us. Works for me. So now that we got more positioning abilities... Okay, this sucks. We got one of those blast scions again. But again, why not use the enemy to our advantage? Flip him around. Use this secondary robot to freeze up this boy. Freeze this feller. And we'll stomp on that. Oh no, we already used him to flip him around. Okay. And we don't want to kill him outright because he's going to explode. So we'll just let it ride. Perfect. And so when enemies kill their teammates, that experience gets applied sort of randomly, but evenly amongst our teammates. So that is quite useful. We can let these two attack one another. No problem with that. Here's the great thing about that booster. We can just basically dip out. And there we go. That's a real easy one for the ice-based mechs. So for the spiders, are you able to break the eggs before they hatch? Yes, yes you can, and they only have 1 health, so ideally you'd like to do a little bit of chip damage to them, either through bumping, which always does 1 point of damage, like the collisions, or just a direct attack. Or if you can set them on fire, that's even better, since that'll trigger before they hatch. But yeah, there's definitely ways to take care of them. It's just the spider spawners themselves. You really want to take care of them as soon as you can, because they'll keep spitting out new eggs every turn. It just gets to be a hassle. Ice Forest. Break 5 buildings out of the ice. And block Vex spawning 3 times. Alright, we can actually do this one, despite how counterintuitive it might seem to our team. Because we're actually going to let the enemy do the breaking for us. So we're going to selectively target just some of the enemy, and we're going to let the rest of them break open the ice around these buildings. Oh, and a new pod. Perfect. Hopefully we can get one more specialty pilot. So for example here, what I would love to do... Are we going to be able to do this? Let's find out. So if he's attacking us, he's really of no use to us. So we can take him out. I would love to get the mirror mech down here, push him out of the way so that he's not threatening that pod. And then what's our movement on the ice mech 4? Whoa! Goose Plays Metal has joined the Space Cadets. Thank you so much, fella. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying our stream tonight. We're just playing a little bit of Into the Breach. We're going to make it all the way to the end. Save another timeline with Spaceman and the Space Cadets. And you know what, everybody? I think that brings us to 45 Space Cadets here on the channel. 45 followers. We're getting ever and ever closer to that 50 follower milestone that we want to hit by the new year. So if you can help us get to that, if you like what we're putting down, feel free to join the channel. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to be able to introduce new ways that we can interact with all of our viewers, which of course comes with hitting that 50 follower milestone. Twitch gives us a whole slew of new options, new ways to engage, new tools to use. So that's what we're gunning for. That's what we're aiming for. The sooner we can hit that, the sooner we can introduce fun new options onto the show. Now I'm forgetting, we also have that booster. We can use that as well. But I think right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna punch through here. We're gonna drop down here, knock him over. And, ooh, actually, can we cover the time pod in ice? I don't want to risk it, because I'm not 100% sure. But here's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna freeze this fella because he's kind of a liability. He's difficult, or more difficult, than the rest of them to kill, so I think it's better to just put him on ice. So we're gonna have 2 buildings opened up. And remember, we've still got to block Vex spawning 3 times, so we gotta prioritize that as well. Oh, spiders. Okay, that's not ideal, but we can make it work. And here's how we make it work. We step on here. We freeze him up. No, but he's gonna... Okay, we can still make this work. We freeze him up. We blast him so he's just a little bit easier to kill. He'll still break open a building for us. And then we waste him. We'll just have 1 mini spider to deal with next turn. And then we're blocking 1. We just gotta block 2 spawns on the next turn. And we'll have to break open 1 more building. Thankfully, they've been targeting iced ones, not ones that are already broken open. Oh, I say that, but there goes that spider. Okay, this'll work, this'll work. Drop on here. Waste this fella. Ice that spider. And that'll be it. You always gotta remember that on the last turn, when it says victory in 1 turn, you're not going to see new Vex spawn points. So you gotta take care of all this stuff before it hits 2 turns remaining. Okay, so that's 1. That's 2. We got all of our objectives completed. He's just gonna break open ice. That's fine by me. Take care of him. Get us a little bit of extra XP. Done. Done like dinner. Another flawless victory. Now, let's crack open that time pod. What do we got? Just a straight up reactor core? Okay, where can we apply that? Not to you. Not to you, really. That's what we'll do. Extra movement for the Aegis mech. So he's fully kitted out now. Unless we swapped out some other weapon for him. Now, technically, you can use wrong class weapons on wrong class mechs. It just costs an extra power core or reactor core in order to activate it. So if we wanted to put these brute class Janus cannons onto the Aegis mech, we could do it. It would just cost us an extra reactor core to activate it. Alright, defend robot factory. Protect Robo Lab. Yeah, we can do that. Having the ice mech sort of allows us to create shields. So we can definitely make that work. We'll pop you here, and we'll pop you here. Yeah. Alright, let's see how this goes. And those robot factories will continue to create robots. The first time I played the game, I thought, okay, they're making robots, they must be on our side. But no, they're actually completely out of control. So we gotta take care of them as well. Alright, now this is not grand. We're kind of blocked off from everything here. We should have positioned ourselves to go around the outside. Can we make use of any priority? No, unfortunately. You're only going to do 1 point of damage. Oh, but... Spaceman, you almost forgot. We have boosters now. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking we do then. We're gonna drown this one. We're gonna boost over here, knock him into the water. He's a ground type, so he just goes for a swim. And then we'll knock him out of the way. There, so we are still going to take 1 point of defense damage. Perhaps. We got a 25% chance of negating it. Let's see how it goes. Oftentimes I'll upgrade mechs with new weapons and I'll completely forget that I installed it on it. So we got lucky there. Okay, so we also have to take care of these robots. Alright, we can deal with him. We're tied up here, unfortunately. But we can still jump around, so perhaps we shall do that. Is there anything that we can reach? Maybe not. We could tank that damage if we really had to stay there. Oh, he's shooting this way. Okay, so no problem. We don't even have to make a choice there then. That's what we do then. That's what we do. We're going to freeze this fella. We're going to knock him out the way. And we're going to use the boosters to fly right up here, knock this guy off course. So again, we're going to risk losing 1 power grid. But all for the greater good. And hey, level up. What do we get that time? Extra mech move. Perfect. Alright, let's see it play out. Alright, we're down 1. So next time we hit the end of the island store, we're probably going to want to spend some of our reputation leveling up our grid defense. Thankfully, they're targeting us and not their own factories. That's very convenient. Alright, here's what we're going to do then. Again, we're going to risk some grid defense. Or are we? No, I think we're actually going to get away with it this time. So here's the thing that has to be done. We have to do this. Secondly, we have to freeze this fella. I'm not too concerned about the spiders, because they're pretty weak. And we're only going to have one more turn after this. So we don't have any more spawns to worry about. So what we will do is just take out this robot here. Good, good. We just have to survive one more turn. And everybody's pretty weak here. So it shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, he'll do 1 damage to us. We can tank that, no problem. Take him out. Take him out. Freeze spiders. Done. Alright, that was a close one. I wasn't sure we had it there. Thought we were going to have to start mitigating damage again. But as long as you approach it with a clear mind. So we need 2 more reactor cores to finally finish up this mech, which we should be able to afford. So anything past this point is just gravy as we try to get our power grid up. And that's all we have option-wise. Left is missions that will give us a point of power. And battle with 4 or less mech damage, or and battle with 4 or less mech damage, or less than 4 mech damage. Protect batteries, and there's an ice storm. Okay, let's take a look at that then. Ice storm's a pretty cool environmental effect. It does basically what you'd expect. Anything that's on the tile when it happens gets frozen. We're gonna want to freeze up that spider as soon as possible. If he doesn't walk into the ice storm himself. Oh, that's got us stuck there, does it? Well then, we're gonna have to do something about that. Ooh, don't tell me we're completely stuck here. Okay, if we freeze the spider, that should release the web. We flip him around. Or we can use our cannons to free him up, flip him around, and Ice Mech can freeze one of these two. Do we sacrifice the building? I'd rather not. Maybe this is what we do then. Let's see. Oh, but that's right. We've got boosters too. We can always escape these webs with the boosters. So what is the priority here? He swings, then he shoots. Okay, okay. Unfortunately, wish we had more positional options. Like this mirror mech. Okay. Okay, that's what we need to do then. Alright, I've got it now. Mirror mech goes here. Frost mech, Ice mech goes here. And we're going to use his special ability when he repairs to bump everything around. That's going to break him free. Just like that. Allows him to move. Now his shot's going to go off before he takes a swing at the buildings, so that's going to be fine. We're going to freeze him so that he can't take a shot on our building there. Okay, good. We've still got a live spider, but all things considered, not a terrible turn. So as you can see there, everything in that ice storm area gets frozen up. Now this is not grand. But I think we're still going to be safe from that ice storm given our shield. And if he's not, we can always break him out manually. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll block the spawn. We'll do some damage there. Flip him around. He's already very weak, and we'll freeze you up. We're about to see whether the shield negates ice storms. Let's find out. It does. Okay, I was right. That is such a great ability. It doesn't negate any instant kill effects like falling rocks or lightning storms or anything like that. But we now know that it does negate ice fields. Or ice storms. Okay, just one more turn, one more spawn. Looks like we're good. I mean, that is pretty well insulated. I don't know how they'd get at that at this point. We can just move out of the way. And there we go. Victory. Alright, so one more boss fight, then we're on to the last island. We got this in the bag at this point, I think. The bot leader. Okay, this one is a little more tricky to defeat because you really have to focus fire it all the time. Because once it takes any damage, it'll put up a shield and try to defend itself on the next turn. You gotta take it out lickety-split. And I'm sure these bots are gonna break out of the ice right about now. No? Okay. The enemy might prioritize trying to do so, though. We cannot access the enemy. So let's change that, shall we? Now we've got tone. And we don't want you... You know what, actually I don't really care if he breaks open that robot, because the robots are pretty easy to deal with. We can just freeze them up again if we have to. But you know what I don't want? I don't want this guy getting away. So for this turn, we are going to freeze you, so you're not putting more fellas on the field. Alright, and bam! That's half of his health done. As long as we can get 2 shots on him next turn, he should be taken care of. Oh, but that's right, he can move through his iced up friends. Great, okay. What's your movement speed? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We can at least keep up the pressure. Oh no, but we can't, because that's not going to kill him, is it? Alright, but we gotta have him close over here anyways, so... We might have to restart the bot killing process. Oh, but yo! What did I just think of? Spaceman, that's right. You've got those boosters. Alright, undo our moves. Let's rethink this. Now, these robots do not benefit from the blast scion effect, I believe. So once again, we are going to be risking our power grid. It's a shame, but it has to be done. Okay, we'll get you. We're gonna bust them open. They're gonna get hit by this attack next turn. Before that happens, we are going to boost out here. That is actually going to break his shield. So he's going to have to restart that process next turn. Okay, that's great. We've got clear skies. That ice can actually be a huge impediment. Oh, man! He completely healed. Okay, but we got him this turn. Oh, why? Why would you get in the way like that, Blast Scion? Come on. We've got 2 turns to win it, though. We can still do this. Shot there, 1 shot there. And he's trying to do damage here. Okay, we can get a little more damage here, though. Or do we try to take this guy out? What do we have to do? What do we have to do? That may work. That may work. Freeze you. Get rid of that problem once and for all. Boy, I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. Waste him. And yeah, they don't benefit from that extra effect. Okay. And then we'll twist him around. So with any luck, that last turn, we can use this to break his shield, and he can finish him off. Oh boy, are we about to get... He's completely enclosed. But we've still got it, because here's what we do. No, we don't got it, do we? Oh, that is rough. Do we have any other options here? I don't think we're going to destroy the bot leader. We really need something that can attack in an arc. What else could work here? He's got 3 points of health. Nothing short of a direct attack, unfortunately. If we were to take this guy completely out, he would explode. Any of these guys out, they would explode. Which would take down the shield, but unfortunately, even though we've got 5 movement on this guy, we can't get through enemy spaces. We'd have to be able to take out both of these at the same time and secure an explosion. Man! This is where there's one pilot where you can attack twice if you don't move. That would be great if we could go attack here, explode, attack here, clear up the pathway. Then he could get in. That would be all that we need. Alright. Are we sure there's no way to do this? Yeah, we're pretty sure there's no way. We're just completely boxed in here. So I said earlier that I'm surprised that, given the 8x8 nature of the board, how rarely we find that it gets cluttered. But every once in a while we find a case like this, where the game just gets all cluttered up. It's hard to move stuff around. Alright, I think we might just have to face facts. Think, Spaceman, think. No, because we're webbed here. That's the issue. And because we can't move through enemy spaces. And because we don't have any actual damaging attack on the ice mech. See, if we had a third damage dealing mech, we could probably do it. Unfortunately, we do not. I did not expect that. All right. All right, so basically, we're just going to get the point for protecting the corporate tower, which means, once again, we're not going to get the end of the island bonus, unfortunately. But we did a pretty good job at securing most of the power grid. Hey, Monayu's in the chat. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We're just playing a little more Into the Breach, getting very near to the end of our run. Unfortunately, we're just humming and hawing over us missing out on one of our bonus objectives here. How's the stream going? Pretty good, pretty good. You know, it's more of a cerebral evening, more of a tactical thinking stream tonight, as we try to coordinate our way through mech piloting. However, sometimes you just get all cluttered up in one corner of the map. You run out of damage-dealing units. I see, I see. So here's what I think then. We're just going to go for a little extra XP then. Make sure we spread it around. So we'll pop off a shot here. Yes, I thought we might have thought of one more thing. I was wrong though. So we'll pop off the shot here. Take the punch here. Hey, look at that, level up. That's what we need as we go into the last island. Rough times, yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we won't get all of our bonuses, but we'll still walk away with a pretty good haul. So our shield here will keep us safe. He repairs up to full. Man, see, that's the thing about these robots. If you don't take them out right away, they'll just keep repairing themselves. Okay, we got another promotion. What do we got? +1 mech reactor. Perfect. I mean, we're already maxed out on this guy. Let's spend our reputation. What did we need? We needed 2 more in order to max out damage on our cannons. We'll buy 2 reactor cores. Throw a rock. No, I still prefer the booster. I love the teleporter. I do love the teleporter. But I think more importantly right now is to get up our grid power as we go into the last island. Okay, there we go, maxed out cannons. And we're on to our final island, Detritus Disposal. Okay, what's the play here? See, now I'd like to maximize power grid supplying missions, since we've already got most of our weapons fully kitted out. So let's start here. Block Mech spawning 3 times, we can do that. And this island is all about acid effects. So anybody who's inflicted with acid, that means they end their turn on one of these spaces, will take double damage. Alright, now we want to block spawns, but unfortunately, we may have to postpone that. Or no, we can still make it. Here's what we'll do. Squad on here and take out the Scion, which is giving all these guys a what do you call it? It's actually tougher than I thought. Okay, we can still make this work though. But it was giving them all a shield bonus, which means they take 1 less damage from attacks. Gotta get going, fun stream though. Well, thanks for stopping in, Salted Abnormality. Salty, thanks for coming by. Probably only going to be on for another maybe 20 minutes, half hour or so at the most. That'll take us to the end of the game. We're definitely gonna complete this run. I can feel it. There's not much that'll stop us from winning this one. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to mitigate disaster here again. See, we can't shoot off the ice beam, or the ice, what do they call it? Cryo launcher. Right into the next square. It has to lob a bit. It's got to arc. So we're gonna have to let this building take a shot. Unfortunately, he's got 4 health, which is a little more than I had anticipated. This is also why we gotta get our own mechs HP up on this island, especially. This stuff, we start to see all these supercharged enemies. Okay, what do we want to do here? We can turn one of these guys around. We can... Oh, even better, though. How much damage does he do? 3? How far can we get these guys? Not far enough, unfortunately. 2 and 3, or 3 and 3. We'd take him right out. Alright, here's what we'll do then. We'll park on here, since we gotta keep blocking spawns. We're gonna turn this guy around. And we're gonna park on this one as well. And we're not gonna heal him up right yet, because it would actually push this guy over to a spot that we don't want him to be at. Okay, bust him around. I guess now we could move him over if we wanted to, but for the sake of healing ourselves up. But again, I don't want to create another bottleneck situation like we had last game. And we got 2 turns left, though. So it shouldn't be too tough to handle the rest of these fellas. Oh, you're shooting at us, are you? Here's what we'll do. Take him out. We'll knock you over so that you can deal some damage to your own fella. Helping out the team, helping out the team. Loving that shield, as always. Okay, he can tank that. We could just dodge that, basically. Is there a fun way that we could get all of them at the same time? Doesn't look like it. So we'll just go for the ones who deal the most, or give the most XP. I think the only one who has to level anymore is Mafan, and he's the hardest one to level, since he doesn't have any direct damage dealing attacks. So we have to sort of rely on enemies that kill each other, or environmental effects, in order to get him some XP. But we should try to get that done on this island before we go to the final fight. What's in the pod? Let's take a look. Another reactor core that we can't use. Okay. We've already got one that's sitting idly here, so hopefully at the end of this island we'll find some better weapons that we can use. So we want to go here, here, and here to get the most power grid that we can. Oh, defend the train though. That is one of my least favorite missions. Should we go here, here, and here? We'll miss out on 1 extra power. Oh, we can't even make that. If we want to get these double ones, we have to go through the train mission. Alright. We can do this. We just gotta surround the train. Protect it with our lives. Let's do this. We deal much greater damage now. Now it becomes an issue of damage mitigation. Is there anywhere that we can get double damage? Let's see. I would love to freeze this guy because he's just going to be hassling us all game, popping up and down all over the place. We can get up there, take him out. And then 3 plus the bonus damage. Actually. Maybe that's what we want to do. Okay, freeze you, knock you over. No. Because of the way they're positioned, I wish that you could, like, swap positions. But unfortunately, you can't. Now hold on. Darn it. He goes first. This is where you gotta be checking priority and stuff and stuff. I mean, wouldn't it be easy to just allow you to select where one of your teammates is and just swap positions? Because that would really be helpful right now. Use him to take out the Scion. At which point we can freeze him and whip around here, finish him off. So we're just gonna have this guy that we can freeze on the next turn. Alright. It's not ideal. It's not a perfect plan, but it is a plan. You're done. You're done. You're frozen. Okay. Train keeps on rolling. Yes! We got the resist. 1 in 4 chance, but still, can't rely on it. Okay. That train is mad threatened. Thankfully, I think here's what we're gonna do. We have to get this guide over here so that he can blast this, take out the rock, so that the Aegis mech can sneak in there and finish him off. Which means that we want the freezer mech to be right here, so that it can freeze this guy once that's all done and taken care of. And yoink. There we go, and he'll survive that spawn because he's got the shield. Okay. I think this might be the first time we finish the defend the train mission on stream. Alright, freeze him because he's a hassle. Waste him. Train keeps running. Done. Perfect. Close one there, but we got it this time. We got it this time. Alright, I think 2 more missions for this island. Then the mini-boss, then the final fight. Okay, let's get that power plant. Defend the power plant, block Vex spawning 3 times. How's the map look? Well, that's a lot of spawns. That is a lot of spawns. What are our other options? No, we gotta go for it, though. Gotta defend these 2 power plants. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we're working with. He can go wherever he wants. We can deal with that. Might have to mitigate grid defense damage again. He's targeting what will soon be an empty space. That's helpful. Unfortunately, can't quite get through here. We could if we took out this feller. That's what we're gonna have to do, isn't it? Alright. We'll get him to scurry away. He's gonna come back next round, but that's the cost. Now we can bust in here. Do a bit of damage. And we're gonna have to freeze this fella. So we are gonna risk losing power here, and he does an attack of 5, so that'll lose both those points if it goes through. Fingers crossed, 1 in 4 chance that we survive it. Here it goes. Here it goes. Ah, that's rough. So basically, if we survive this one, we'll just be breaking even after that attack. Alright, you're gonna do how much damage? 2? Alright, we can survive that. Remember, we gotta be blocking spawns as well. So let's get on here. Or you know what? We'll let him take the shot first. We'll squat on top of here. Freeze another fella. This is actually pretty good for us because it helps to block off ways that they can access the power plants. So we're gonna have to block 2 spawns next turn. Okay, we can do it. Let's back up here. We could actually... Yeah, let's do that. This is what I'm thinking. Make sure he's got his shield, and we'll bump him onto there. He'll get his attack off, but it won't go through. We'll take 1 point of damage, that's fine, but he's going to block the final one. And we'll get the XP off of that. Some of that will go to Mafan. Freeze him, and hopefully that'll take us... He's 4 XP away from his skill. Okay, let's see that play out. There we go. Now we just got 1 little fella to deal with. This is what I like to see. Watch this. Get the old alley-oop. And then right into the water, right into the acid. Perfect. Alright, that's it. Another victory. Thank goodness for that ice mech. It's super situational, but when it does work, it sure does work. Okay, last one, nano silos. Block Vex spawning 3 times, protect the coal plants, and this is fun, conveyor belts. So this is one of the, this is basically the environmental effect from this island. Goose plays metal! We got some action in the chat. Getting hype. We're very close to the end. This is going to be the final mission before the mini-boss, before the final fight. We're just about there. And hey, we get an extra pod. I would love to see some cool new weapons in there. Okay, we can deal with that, no problem. Oh, that's not ideal though. Gonna have to... Yeah, we're gonna have to use both of our damage dealers. That's fine, because this guy's just targeting... Good, how much... Oh man, they've got such crazy, they've got such crazy HP. Okay. Let's undo our moves here. I think there's a way we can optimize this. So I gotta remember that we got to block these spawns. Now what these conveyor belts do, basically before anything else triggers, because environment moves first, it'll move whatever's on it in whatever direction it's going. So if we can position enemies onto it, we can actually get them to attack each other, we can get them to blow right into sometimes water, sometimes acid. Not on this map it looks like, but in other circumstances. Alright, I would love to pick up that pod. So here's what I think we're gonna do. Goose et al. Everybody listening in. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna swing our Aegis mech around here. He'll attack here. He'll scurry away. And when that happens, it'll allow our mirror mech to move through what used to be an empty space. This game's art style looks very Game Boyish. Love it. Yeah. I think that's a good assessment. Kind of like GBA, right? It's got that feel. And it's actually the successor title to another game series called Faster Than Light, which is another roguelike series, which is more about space travel from the same developer. Alright, so I don't think we're going to be blocking any spawns this turn, but we'll make up for it next turn. Because here's what we got to do. We got to punch here. Or can we? Can we? No, I don't think we can. We got to punch here. He'll scoot. We got to shoot here. Thankfully, he's shielded now. And then we got to freeze. That'll take care of him for the rest of the game, thankfully. It's kind of got like an Advanced Wars sort of look to it. Not quite as cartoony, but the interface reminds me of that sort of game, and definitely games like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, if you're familiar with those ones. Okay. We've got nothing that can web us, can trap us up, thankfully. What do we want to do here? He wants to break him out. I don't love that. We only got one spawn this turn? That is rough. Alright, are we going to be damage mitigating again? That's the question. We may just be. Darn it. Or no. Here's what we do. I know what we do. Ha ha ha. We got this. We've got this. We're gonna move over there. So we want you to be right here. We freeze. We get on that spawn point. We shoot in both directions, and we boost. Keep forgetting about that. I always keep forgetting that we have that ability. Okay, so that's one block. Hopefully the next turn they'll have 2 spawns. Whiffed his shot, perfect. Now this turn, we can hopefully... Yep, we can clean the... Yeah, oh, that's perfect positioning, look at that. Block 1, block 2. Oh, how much damage is he gonna do? 3? Oh, we can't have that then. So that would do 3 damage to us. And... that last point of damage, we would lose that when the Mech tries to come through next turn. So, undo that. Here's a better idea. Oh no, do we not have range on him? Oh, that's rough. That's alright. We can still make this work. Here's what we do. Block it. Stay there, block that one. We shoot. And then we put some ice on it. Alright, so that's our 3 Vex blocks. Are we actually getting the bonus this time? I think we might be. I can't recall. Did we lose out on any of the bonus objectives on this island? Crack open that time pod. Okay. New mech. Oh, this is going to be perfect. Mech gains flying, but that requires 1 power to use. But guess what? We've already got a mech without a specialty pilot who's got an extra mech reactor. Flop that in there. Turn flying on. Oh, they had 1 extra mech reactor. That's how they were installing that. Well, that's fine with me. I'll give you an extra one. I don't mind. And he's got 6 move. Oh, he's going to be a beast. This Aegis mech is going to be flying around everywhere. Okay, nothing else that we can install right now. No. Destroy the Firefly leader. Okay. This one's not bad. It fires in 2 directions like our mirror mech does. But other than that, no problemo. Now, I'm worried, very worried about this leaper here, because he's going to try to web at least one of our guys, so we want to keep them kind of spaced out so that he can't get 2 at the same time. Thankfully, everybody's got pretty good mobility at this point. Oh, I like that the Aegis mech floats now. That we put Prospero, or what is his name, into the pilot seat. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm thinking... cannons on him. Freeze this guy to free him up to go beat him with the shield, which will give him a shield, which will negate the attack there. Alright. Let's put that into motion. Freeze. Thankfully, there's no knockback damage against burrowers, because as soon as they take damage, they just scoot through. And here we go. That's half his health done. Perfect. Don't have to worry about anything but destroying and surviving. Okay, this is good, this is good. That's not so good. But here's what we can do. He wants to attack there, huh? And he wants to attack me, huh? Oh, this could work, though. This could work. We freeze here. Attack both sides here. Yeah, our cannon is strong enough to take him out. That's good. And then punch here. I think we're golden. And he opens that up again, but that's nothing we can't deal with next turn. Take care of you. Take care of you. That shields us from this attack. Oh, we got this one in the bag, Space Cadets. We got this one in the bag. We can just zip around. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be fly. All right, check this out. We're gonna freeze here. We're going to double cannon both sides here. That'll kill him. That'll weaken him considerably. He's gonna be fine because he's got the shield. And we can flip his shot around so it'll effectively cancel it. Right? Yes, right. That's right. I love it when a plan comes together. Strange similarities to how our last stream with Into the Breach went. We wiped very early, and then we had a very successful second run. Alright, let's knock you around. Freeze you up. Take you in. Done. Shoot at the mountain, fine, whatever. On your bike. Get out of here. So that takes us right to the final fight then. And we get the island bonus, so we get to choose between a missile barrage that can be used once per battle. That's actually not that great, unfortunately, because the final fight, what we're going to be going up against, it's very rare that we see 1 HP enemies. So doing that sort of chip damage isn't all that great. Archimedes, move again after shooting. I don't think so. I think we just want to overpower our grid. Try to get it up as high as possible. Alright, let's spend our reputation. What can we buy here? That might be worth it. Gravwell. If we could put that on the cryo mech, the ice mech. If over any distance, dropping a bomb on each tile you pass, once per battle. Don't love that. So we just need 1 reactor core in order to power this on a non-matching mech, so we have that already. We can donate Tatiana, since we aren't using her anymore. So we'll have 7 rep to supercharge our grid defense. Basically 1 in 3 chance of not taking damage. I think we ought to put this on the ice mech. Definitely. Perfect. All right. This is it. Final fight. Into the hive. I think here, I think here, I think here. And this has got basically all the sort of environmental effects that we've learned about, all the challenges that we've dealt with. We still have these pylons here that represent our buildings that we have to protect. But basically all we have to do is survive the fight. Alright, what's the best way to go about this? Priority. He moves before he does. How much damage does he do? 3? Okay. That could be perfect. We post up here. No, that won't work, will it? Okay, let's rethink that. Unfortunately, we've got pylons all the way over here. Okay, rethink that. What's another way we could do this? Ooh. Nope, that won't work. I was gonna say we could flip him around to charge in here, but unfortunately he goes after this shot pops off. One of these guys we can freeze at least, though. As long as we get at least some of these dudes out of the way. Can't move down here, but we can with him. Okay. Unfortunately, this setup is a little less ideal than I would have hoped for. I don't want to be wasting power grids right off the bat. How much damage? 3. Technically, we could tank it. Really, why should we have to? That's right. I just recalled that we have that repair function. Man, I always be forgetting about these extra features that we have. Okay, we can freeze him, we can bump him over, he'll charge at him, and we can turn him around. That'll take care of most of our problems here. Okay. System mastery at its finest right there. Okay, just took us a moment to remember what we were dealing with. Plan coming together swimmingly. Now we got some kill zones here. Let's see, I think love to see him frozen. We can knock him over into the water. And when we do that, it'll free up this spot to allow us to attack him, but we can't stand there, because that's going to be a fireball that strikes, destroying anything present. Gotta weigh our options once again. However, let's see, we can boost. Now we could use this mech to shield the pylons effectively. But I think what we're actually going to have to do is just risk that. Hate to see it happen so early. But we've got to mitigate some damage here. See, can we get any closer? No, we can't. Okay. We got 2 more turns after this before we move on to the second stage of the final fight. Yes! Resisted. Now we're probably not going to get that lucky again. So let's do our best here. Okay, he's going to stay exactly where he is. We're going to turn him around and we're going to freeze this one. So we'll knock him right into the lava. It behaves just like water for these ground types. Except for the fact that it... Oh, you know what? Before we do that, here's what we're going to do. Except that it sets anything that survives in there, it sets it on fire as well. Alright, we are going to use the boost. That's going to knock him into the water. That's going to kill him outright. And freeze. And there we go. Alright, one more turn. We'll have 2 new enemies to deal with. And then we'll be solid. And the nice thing about this final fight is between the different rounds or phases, we actually get to heal our units back, which is very, very nice. Alright, we'll knock him off. We'll do the same thing here into the water. That'll hit him with the falling rocks, which hopefully will apply some more XP to Mafan. He is very, very close to leveling up. It'd be nice to get something useful between phases here. Level up. What did we get? Oh, I think we got more grid defense. Tremors on sensors. Hold on. Here we go. I don't think I saw a mission. I don't think we did a mission on the desert island involving these Renfield bombs. But they're sort of tied to the earlier part of the game. We just got to defend this bomb for 5 turns. Let's do it. Okay, he is basically a mini boss, so we got to take care of him first. I'm thinking we just freeze him. That should be fine. And what can we do? Ooh, do we want to freeze him, or... do we want to just use that, what do we call it? Grav well. We can pull stuff towards us now, too. Very handy, very useful. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to clear out from here. So first things first, we're going to knock this guy into the falling rock tile, because that'll trigger first. And once he's done that, we'll move the Aegis mech up here to punch this guy to get him to turn around. Finally, we'll have the ice mech come down here, draw this guy into the lava, take him right out. And even though he's got so much HP, that falling rock tile will still kill him in one shot. Alright, sounds like a plan, sounds like a plan. Ooh, better yet, look at this. You can do the exact same thing here. Boost. Into the lava. It's all coming together. We got this, and we've got full power grid. I think it's going to be very hard for us to lose this one. Okay, now this is the only place that we see this particular type of scion. It actually deals damage to us every turn. A Scion Tyrant. All player units take 1 damage at the end of every turn, so we want to definitely take care of him ASAP. This guy here is not so much an issue right now. So we can waste him, freeze him. And I really would like to be able to knock him into one of these kill tiles. But I don't think we're going to get that, so instead, we can come over here and apply some damage. And that should mean that we don't take any grid damage this turn. He's just attacking empty space. Oh no! So because he's on a lava tile, we can't freeze him. Yo! That's clever. Let's reset the turn. Or do we just tank the damage there? No, I think we reset the turn. So I think we can do something better there. So same idea. Knock him out. Instead, we'll come over here. We'll use the gravity well to pull him back onto dry land. He'll attack his own fella. That'll at least do a little damage to help us. And we can still turn this guy around. And he'll take a little damage from blocking Vec for the next turn. I hadn't thought of that. If they're on lava, of course they can't freeze. How would that make any sense? Ooh! I completely didn't notice that he had a range of 2. Thankfully that got resisted. Okay, need to deal with this because we can't have the bomb take too much damage. We're seeing a lot of grid defense getting targeted this round. Who goes first here? Ah, darn it. We could have had him take out his own guy. We really only have to survive 2 rounds, though, so... what are our options here? What are our options? He would do 2 damage there. Don't love this at all. No, I do not. Now, we can't move the bomb without using some sort of ability. But it's only going to do 2 damage to it, which it can survive. So we're basically going to have to let it take damage this round. And deal with this fella next turn. Okay, here's what we do then. Here is what we do. We're going to take him out with a punch. We are going to protect this one. No. Yes? Yes. Alright, we're gonna block this, and we're gonna protect at least one of these. Okay. So ultimately we'll take 2 damage here, and possibly 2 grid defense damage shot. Resisted. Perfect. Alright, we just have to survive this round. I'm not sure there's even a way for us to lose at this point. We can flip him around, that's fine. We can freeze up one of these guys. What's he doing? Shooting over here? Not even a problem, though. We can even push him into the way, but I'd rather just let him run into the lava. There's you. Punch out. And technically we're seeing spawn points come up again, but it really doesn't last any longer than this turn. So we're risking one set of power grids. He's gonna run into the lava. Oh, perfect. Resist it again. This is it. The bomb's ready. I recommend you leave now or you'll share a grave with the Mech. New timelines, new discoveries indeed. So at the end of the game we get the option to carry over one of these pilots into our next playthrough. Vecticide complete. The islands are preserved and balance restored. And there we have it. A little cutscene. Big impact right there. And credits roll. Victory! Thanks to Prospero, Harold Schmidt, and Mafan. The Vec Hive destroyed, saving this timeline from ultimate doom. Humanity can now begin to recover from the destruction wrought by the Vec. Tells us how many lives we saved. Very good. And credits roll. Then, of course, we get to save somebody to bring along for next time. Didn't love how Mafan leveled up that time. May as well save... None of these guys are real good now that I think about it. Usually I like it when we get the level ups, which are either extra mech move or extra mech HP plus an extra reactor core. But it is all random what you get when you level up as well. So we'll just bring Mr. Schmidt with us. Why not? Oh, look at this, look at this. Haster Gold, rating with a party of 13. Hello everybody, you're just catching the tail end of our show here tonight. We just finished saving another timeline with our intrepid Mechs. Oh, Kohaku's in the chat as well. Hey everybody. Every time, Haster. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually went longer than I expected as well. We're just coming up on 3 hours now. But we finished up with another team, the Ice Mechs. Getting very close to finishing the whole game here. I've been playing a lot off stream as well. As I've said before, I used to play this game all the time, so we started completely fresh. We're just chasing achievements at this point. But I'm sure we'll come back to the game at some point. You won't miss it in the future, but if you want to stay tuned for all the Vector Spaceman broadcasts, then be sure to give us a follow on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, all of our channels. You know, I've said it before, but I'll say it again since we got so many people in the chat right now. We're trying to reach our monthly goal of 50 followers by the new year. We're getting very, very close. I think we're sitting at 45 right now. Thanks to Goose Plays Metal, who's been in the chat tonight, and some other wonderful, wonderful friends of the show. Good luck. Well, thank you. Thank you, Haster. Here's hoping we can do it. Here's hoping. As hitting that 50 will allow us to introduce some new features that'll help us engage with the channel, or engage with the viewers here on the channel. So that's what we're trying to get to. That's what we're trying to get to. So if you like what we're laying down, if you like shooters, if you like strategy games, if you like arcade type games, old Flash content, old animation, very mid-2000s web sort of stuff, then why not stick around? Why not give us a follow? It don't cost you a dime, and you'll always be tuned in whenever we're going live. But with that said, you can't follow twice? No, I suppose that's true. I suppose that's true. But thanks for helping out the channel anyways. But anyways, with all of that said, I think that's where we're going to call it for this evening. We set out to do pretty much what we wanted to do. Oh, we're just... Oh, Jin Axel has joined the Space Cadets. Look at that, see? That's why we reach out. That's why we keep saying it. Now, that puts us at 46. Only 4 more to go. We're getting very, very close to our monthly goal. And what does that mean? Well, that means once we hit the new year, hopefully, we'll be able to start outfitting the channel with some new features, some new ways to keep people entertained as we try to entertain you. So what was the one Chivo that we missed here? Trick shot. Kill 3 enemies with a single attack of the Janus cannon. I can't believe that we didn't get that one. We would have had to get some sort of collision damage on it. That's what it is. I'm sure we can finish that up off stream, though. That won't take me more than a minute. I do love this game, though. For anyone who's not familiar with the game, it is sort of the sister or successor series to the old roguelike game Faster Than Light, which is more space-based. Whereas in this one, you control a team of mech pilots, time travelers, as it were. Very interesting conceit. Sort of gives you a reason for why you're playing it over and over and over again. But I have a lot of fun with it. It's sort of set up on like a chessboard type layout. Very tactical, very position driven. If you're familiar with games like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, games like that, it could be right up your alley. I'm sure we'll return to it at some point in the future. In fact, I guarantee it, because I'm just such a fan. XCOM, yeah, a lot of similarities with XCOM as well, especially in the sense that you're fighting aliens. But yeah, that's another good reference point. Or maybe Advance Wars, if you're familiar with those games from the Game Boy Advanced era. Kind of like that. Not quite as, not quite so many units, but same premise. Top-down, grid-based combat, you know? We had a lot of fun with it tonight, though. Once again, we completely wiped on our first playthrough, on like the first island. This happened to us the first time we streamed the game, too. But after that, it was smooth sailing. Breezed right through the game. Takes us a little longer when we're explaining how the game works, but I don't mind doing that. I love explaining this game to new people. Gets more people interested in it. It's such a good game. I encourage anybody who's into this sort of tactical combat, give it a try, pick it up. I think actually I got it when it was free on the Epic Game Store for a little while ago. I'm not sure if that deal is still on. Probably not, but whatever they're charging, it's worth it. Well worth it. As I said, I was grinding this a lot off stream, just in my spare time, just because I'm such a fan of it. I think it's one of the few games that we could try to actually go for like a completionist run sort of thing. We've already unlocked most of the achievements, and most of the squads, and most of the special challenges for them. We just gotta do, what's the next one? Hazardous Mechs. All about jumping, all about self-damage, all about acid. A lot of effect-based stuff, it looks like. Aster says, I love hearing you talk, whatever it is you say. Well, thanks, Aster. Maybe one of these days we should do a read-along or something like that. Maybe we could help our space cadets fall to sleep at night. Something like that, right? I'm sure we can find some way to leverage the Spaceman's voice. You know, we keep hearing from people who tune into the show, oh, Spaceman, you've got such a nice, soothing sounding voice, and we're almost starting to believe them. Well, anyways, Space Cadets, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Wherever and whenever you are, whether you were watching us live or catching us afterward, thanks for tuning in. You can join us again tomorrow. We're going to be on our weekend schedule, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here at Harbor Station. We'll catch you on the other side. Until then, of course, no matter what life throws your way, good luck and Godspeed. This is Vector Spaceman, signing off. Have a great night, everybody.